Thank you, and good afternoon. The University of North Dakota's iconic eternal flame burns brightly, as you well know. It is one of UND's most recognized and enduring symbols. The symbol of the flame is most prominent, as you know, on our academic logo. But probably more importantly, it keeps our hearts warm as we think of memories of the past and really the hopes for the future. And just like a fire burning brightly, the UND Alumni Association and Foundation aims to change the world around us, and it starts right here with our students, with our faculty, with our programs, and with our facilities. The Alumni Association and Foundation is that fire burning, but we couldn't have begun to make a difference without the spark that each one of you provides. Together, we will ignite the future for the students of the University of North Dakota. In fiscal year 2017, which ran July 1, 2016 to this June 30th, almost 10,000 donors provided a spark to the University of North Dakota by providing more than 12,000 gifts with the hope of changing the world for our students. Those donors helped us reach our goal of $40 million for support for the University of North Dakota. And what was most exciting to me was that our scholarship support increased 8.4%, or up to $6.4 million. So it's more than just the dollars, what happened this past year. It's about impact. What is the impact that these donors had on our students? Well, let's start with our Fighting Hawk student athletes. This was the first Big Sky school to win 4 conference championships in 1 year. That is simply amazing. And on top of it, we had 10 All-Americans, 29 all-conference athletes. And you know what? Donors gave $9 million for athletics this year, and $7 million of it went directly to student-athlete support. And I could say those students repaid that favor because they set a school record this spring with a 3.279 GPA. Scholarships were also enhanced this year through the North Dakota State Legislature. And I know we have a couple of our legislators here, and we so appreciate what they did by supporting the Higher Education Challenge Fund. So the state provided more than $3 million in a matching grant, and donors came through and provided more than $6 million in gifts. So it meant a $10 million impact on scholarships for students at the University of North Dakota. So thank you, legislators in the state of North Dakota, all of you as citizens, for funding this special initiative. We also had a couple firsts this year. The first Eye of the Hawk lecture series. Now this is something that was established and developed by President Mark and First Lady Debbie Kennedy. And this was their idea to bring the UND community together to really discuss important topics with preeminent experts. So in January, right in this room, we had our first Eye of the Hawk lectureship when Jim McGregor came to this room and talked to our students in the community about China's impact on our future. And then a couple of weeks later, we had Reverend Jamie Washington here to talk about diversity and inclusivity. You couldn't have more relevant topics than those. And we're very excited that we're kicking off our school year with another lectureship series on September 25th, when Neil Kashkari will host a town hall conversation on the Federal Reserve. We also started a new crowdfunding platform. It was called ACT, and this was our way to help work with units and colleges on campus to fundraise for those special initiatives. Well, we have 3 quick examples for you on how that worked for our students. The first one is for our Pride of the North Band. So on September 9th, you will see the Pride of the North Band in brand new uniforms. The first time in 2 decades. And believe me, I bet these uniforms are going to smell better than the ones they wore last year. But our donors, through the crowdfunding platform, raised $88,000 so that our students could have those uniforms. We also had successful initiatives with the UND flying team in the Women's Air Race Classic through our Center for Aerospace Sciences. For this fiscal year, we already have 4 projects in the works, and I'm really looking forward to more exciting opportunities on how these are going to impact today students. The Collaborative Energy Complex had their grand opening last October as part of Homecoming, as you may remember. Now, these funds weren't raised last fiscal year, but it's a great example of what philanthropy can do to have a permanent impact on our campus and on our students, even after the funds are in place. And then this summer, we were able to honor a couple of our own sparks, or maybe some of you would call them spark plugs. So in May, we dedicated Strinden Road. This is in honor of our former CEO, Earl Strinden, and all the work that he did for the University of North Dakota. And in June, we honored Marilyn Haggerty with the UND Spirit Award, and yes, she is definitely a spark plug. And these 2 individuals have really had an impact on the university and on students. It's an incredible impact that they have worked with on our students. But that was last year. And while that's all important, to stop and pause and reflect on all the great things that happen, it's time now to look forward. And what's coming up this year? Well, this year, the UND Alumni Association Foundation is redoubling our efforts in attracting and retaining students to the University of North Dakota. But first, before I tell you about that, I want you to meet a few of the students who are close to our organization.
Hi everyone, my name is Max Ramstead. I study within the School of Interdisciplinary Studies with an emphasis on politics and government. Like so many others, I began my journey at UND with hopes of becoming a pilot. A few failed colorblindness tests later, and my current aspirations didn't seem like they were coming to fruition. I bounced back quickly due to an unmatched zest here on campus, unlike any that I've ever seen, shared equally between students, faculty, and staff. It was nearly impossible for me not to be excited about my journey here at UND, even in the face of one of my life's at the time most difficult bumps. The frustration I felt ultimately got me thinking about so many of the people around our nation and the world who too face very difficult situations out of their control. After landing my first internship in public service following my freshman year at UND, I knew I wanted to do more. Through Greek Life and other on-campus organizations, I was given opportunities to volunteer and help not only locally, but also nationally and globally. Through my time in the classroom, I was exposed to unique schools of thought and even opportunities to directly help refugee and immigrant students in our local high schools. So here I am, just started my first classes of my senior year. I've begun my application process for grad school and hope to find myself in DC around the same time next year. There I will use the skills and tools I gained here at UND to continue to help others within my community, nation, and maybe even the world. Thank you.
Hello, I am Brittany Dvorak, and I'm from Grand Forks, right here in town. I am studying communications with a minor in sports business. As I was a little girl, I've always dreamt of being involved in sports, and after my battle with leukemia cancer, my involvement with sports has changed, as I hope to fulfill a career in the sports industry once I finish my time here at the university. And I couldn't be more excited. But as cancer treatment is expensive and all that added stress, receiving a scholarship at my time here at the university has helped relieve that stress of the financial burden of college. And I can't be more thankful and grateful for that, so thank you to my special donors of that scholarship. But lastly, the part that's super special and makes the college experience so important in life is not only will it last me and impact me and lead me through the rest of my life, it will also impact and lead all those that I meet along the way and I hope to inspire. So this university definitely is a special place, and I'm so, so proud and honored to be part of this legacy.
So I'm the one that gets to come up on stage, and I wasn't told about the dress code, so I'm really going for that student look. My name is Jordan Bolovich, and I'm just entering my junior year here at the University of North Dakota. I'm from a town of about 1,200 people called Kenmare, which is about a half hour from the Canadian border, so I consider myself a Southern Canadian. I'm going to be honest. My journey to UND was a little bit different than most. UND was not my first choice. And I'm going to be honest about that. As I grew up in North Dakota, it was one that was always on my radar, but I wanted to expand my horizons, and I wasn't 100% sure what this university could offer me. But to please my mom, I came to visit. And even in the midst of our harsh January winters, I fell in love. The connections I made, the people I met, the advisors, the instructors, the people that genuinely cared about what I wanted to do and how they could get me there made me just love this campus even more, and is why I could not imagine continuing my education anywhere else. And I'm so thankful to have such a solid foundation for my success from the scholarships that you generously provide to our students. It is unmatched in the success that we are able to attain from your generous support, and I'm so honored to be part of a university that not only encourages success and fosters those generous connections, but wants to see you step forward, and I am so excited to see where we can go from here.
Thank you, Jordan, Maxwell, and Brittany. These are the students that make UND so special. These are your leaders in action, and they are the spark that really is going to change the future for our world. So 35 years ago, it's hard to even really say that, but 35 plus years ago, I received my first scholarship to come to the University of North Dakota. And I remember thinking, wow, I cannot believe this person, Matt Butler, provided this scholarship for me to help me pursue my degree in the College of Business. Unfortunately, Matt Butler passed away this year, but I like to believe that his legacy lives on in me and in others who have received his scholarship, and the legacy that I can have here in working with students and in service to this great university. So tuition has kept up with inflation, but unfortunately, at the University of North Dakota, our scholarship pool has not. So a little more than a decade ago, a student receiving the UND Presidential Scholarship would have received an award that covered 62% of their tuition and fees. Today, that same UND Presidential Scholar student would receive an award that covers 35% of their tuition and fees. So this year, we are asking our alumni and friends, corporations and businesses to impact the lives of many by showing faith in just one student. We need to show more high school students that it is possible to afford college, and to show more parents that they can support their children's dreams without exposing their families to financial risk. We need to attract even more high-ability students and keep them in school once they get here. We need to give these students the ability and freedom to excel in their studies while exploring all that the university has to offer. And we need to allow our graduates to begin their professional careers without the burden of crippling debt. So we can do this by increasing our scholarship pool available to our incoming students, students like Jordan, Maxwell, and Brittany, those who have big dreams to go on and make a difference in so many other lives. We need to prove to them that here at the University of North Dakota, we can make dreams, even impossible dreams, come true. I'd like to tell you a story about one of our newest UND Alumni Association and Foundation board members, Jodi Rowland. Her story is featured in the book, The Heart-Led Leader by Tommy Spalding. Jodi's mother passed away when she was just 7 years old, and she was raised by her 3 older sisters. When she was in first grade, that same year, someone asked her what she wanted to be when she grew up. Well, she grew up in Thief River Falls, Minnesota, very close to my hometown. And she answered that she wanted to work in a big skyscraper and have a big office with a lot of windows. But that was just a dream for Jodi. She never actually thought that she would get a 4-year college degree. Well, after high school, Jodi worked days and took classes at night at Northland Community Technical College. After getting some bad investment advice herself, where she lost $5,000, she decided she wanted to become a financial advisor herself, and that somehow she was going to make it happen with that degree. So she was living in Roseau and working for Edward Jones, doing cold calls back in Thief River Falls in the morning, and then she would drive to UND in the afternoon and take classes, and then she'd head back north up to Roseau, stop at Drayton for a 15-minute nap in time to get to the American Legion for her night shift as a waitress. She did that for 3 years, every day, and she received her UND degree in 3 years. It wasn't a very cheap experience. In fact, she actually went through 5 cars, she jokes about. She hit 2 bear, 1 deer, and 2 ditches due to bad weather. But she achieved her impossible dream. Thanks to her grit and the UND education, she achieved it. And she eventually became a top executive at Merrill Lynch, and today is the Colorado market president for Bank of America. And I've been at her office. It's a tall skyscraper, and she has a lot of big windows. So what is this UND Promise that we talk about? The UND Promise is to create opportunities for young people and families as they become the next generation of UND grads. The UND Promise is to provide an exceptional education with opportunities for student involvement that you can only find at this institution. And our students will show us every day through their hard work and their actions and their dedication that they promise to work hard, that they will be involved, that they will graduate in 4 years, and that they will become transformational members of our society. The UND Alumni Association and Foundation believes in this promise so completely that we have put together a program, a special matching gift program dedicated to the UND Promise. This year, when donors give to scholarships to attract or retain these outstanding students, we will match their gifts. You can truly impact the lives of many by showing your faith in just one student. So for 12 years now, the UND Alumni Association and Foundation has had the opportunity to provide one of the most powerful and generous academic scholarships on this campus. That's the Douchey Memorial Scholarship. This is a scholarship that celebrates the life and the vibrant spirit of former UND student Drew Shadeen. Unfortunately, as most of you know, Drew's life and her dreams were cut short when she was abducted and killed as a student. And during this difficult time, the Berry Foundation approached the UND Foundation, wishing to create a scholarship with the intention of turning grief into triumph and continuing Drew's legacy of involvement. Well, in 2005, Leah Hoffbeck was the first student to receive this scholarship. And she broke down into tears as she was announced that it was going to be her receiving this. And we said, well, we understand, Leah, you were actually a sorority sister of Drew's. And she goes, no, that's not all of it. You see, my family doesn't have very much money. And there's 2 of us. And they had to make a decision on who was going to get to college. I was the oldest, so I had the opportunity to go to college. This scholarship means my little sister gets to go to UND. Since that time, we have awarded 12 more Drew Shadeen Memorial Scholarships, and the recipients are changing this world around them. A few examples are Sonia Murray, who is a home loan officer here at Gate City Bank in Grand Forks. Grace Hochschild, who is an RN in the neurosurgical ICU at Georgetown University Hospital in Washington, D.C., and who has returned home to UND now and is getting her degree and will graduate in December in nurse anesthesia. And Rebecca Bondmiller, who is a director of operations for Indigo Education, a nonprofit group that is dedicated to supporting special education students in Minnesota charter schools. So whether it's from finance to health to education, these young alumni are impacting their communities. Just imagine all the families that Sonia has helped find their forever home, the patients that Grace has nursed back to health, and the children that Rebecca is helping educate. The Berry Foundation, who created this scholarship, had a dream that the memory of Drew would live on and that they would impact the lives of so many others. Every single one of these students has gone on to make a difference in so many other lives, and that number will just continue to grow as this scholarship continues. So what is my dream? What is my impossible dream for this university? That every student who wants that four-year degree has that opportunity here. I challenge each of you to think about how you can help provide that opportunity for students like Brittany and Jordan and Maxwell, for young alumni like Sonia, Grace, and Rebecca, or even professionals like Jodi or myself. We got here because of these UND scholarships. And by showing faith in just one student, you too can impact the lives of so many. So we're asking you to join us. Together, let's ignite the future for these UND students. Thank you for being here today.